Music producers should not get the same credit as the artist. Boy, what are you saying? Before this video starts, this is me from the future editing this video. I want to apologize in advance because the audio might sound very jumpy or different between different takes, and that's because the first take had a ton of glitchy audio and I don't know why, so I had to re-record it like quietly. I'm sorry in advance. Anyways, back to the video. Today we're going to be talking about Alina. She made a tweet back on the 23rd of December and I'd been wanting to talk about it, but I'd been busy with other things, and a lot of people were pretty happy with the Panda talk I made on the other tweet by somebody else, I forget. I don't know, screenshot right here. Anyways, point is, she made a dumb tweet, and today I'm going to be talking about why it's dumb. This tweet seemed to rub the wrong way with a lot of the music community, so it's not going to be that easy to debunk, but I feel like we should all see what Alina did and we should all learn what not to do. Music producers should not get the same credit as the artist. A beat can capture the listener's ear, but it is the artist who's gonna make it a hit. If a beat could be a hit, they would just release the beat with no vocals. The producer should always take a backseat to the artist as far as credit. If you're an artist, you will understand. Imagine you put all this thought and effort into coming up with the chorus and the hook, the lyrics, the melody, just for you to share credit with someone. So that was her general thesis statement and essay. As you guys can see, it was very well put together. Not a lot of people really like that, surprisingly. Bunch of producers crying like, get over it. Producers deserve more credit than the artist. Y'all dumb as heck. So as you can see, she's rather unapologetic with the whole thing, and she even doubles down. First off, stop saying producers have to mix and master vocals when it's the engineers who do that. Second off, this is like a person preparing food and someone cooking it. Doesn't matter how it's seasoned, it's not cooked well, it can be a nasty meal. Okay. Bunch of ignorant, uneducated responses. Y'all do realize the engineer should get as much credit as the person who made the beat, right? Y'all just undermine the person who has just as much input as the artist. Mad over stuff y'all don't understand. And then she decides to, she takes a step back. Alright, I must confess, producer broke my heart. That's why I'm such a bitter, lonely. Eat my, you filthy little animals. Aight, so that was a roller coaster of events. Now this tweet actually went viral in the music community. Not because she was right or because she was preaching some truth, but because literally every single artist decided to jump on the bandwagon and tell her off. While I could just show other people saying why she's wrong and include a couple of screenshots, I'm just gonna go through my opinion and kind of summarize everyone as to why she's wrong. Alright, so first off, a lot of the times producers are already swept under the rug when it comes to credit. If we're gonna talk about really large artists like Ariana Grande, Rihanna, any big time celebrity or vocalist, most of the time they're not making their own music. They're singing. They're not even making their own vocals. They have tons of script writers, they have tons of vocalists, they have producers that produce around the clock to make a song that fits the actual singer. And they're contracted. They're contracted so that they make the song and then they don't get credit for it. Because no one cares who made the original song that Ariana sang over. Everyone just cares about Ariana's vocals. Secondly, and at least from what I've been told by a couple of producers that I talked to, usually the vocalist comes in and sings over an instrumental. It isn't most of the time when a vocalist will actually sing a song and have a track produced around it. One of the examples I can use that I'm just going to think off the top of my head is actually Zed. When he was making music, he actually had a manager that would see a lot of different, pretty large vocalists, and they would hand out Zed's instrumentals to vocalists so that they could sing over. And of course, they would make revisions and fix it if they need to, but most of the time, instrumentals are made for vocalists. It isn't the other way around where acapellas are handed out to be made into songs. And again, another example I can think of is a lot of the time there will be artists that are looking for vocalists to finish a song. You usually don't start with an acapella, you start with an idea and you fill it in if it makes sense. Another thing that she mentions is that it's going to come down to the vocalist to make a track a hit. I've personally never seen an acapella hit like the top 10 best songs of the year. It's never going to happen. I've seen songs without vocals, however, be on like the top charts. I think the EDM scene just in general is a great example of how you can just quote unquote make beats and become quite successful, even without the use of vocalists. I would say in some instances, vocalists can hinder a song. Obviously, it's very sensitive. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. And it's not to the fault of the vocalist. Sometimes it's just to the fault of the nature of a track. I definitely love the part where she says, imagine thinking a producer is needed to be successful. There are very few people who have made it as far as they have without the use of a producer, or even without, quote unquote, without the use of a producer, they are going to need producers that oftentimes, if they're successful and famous enough, are going to leave uncredited. When it comes to what she said about mixing and mastering, yes, that is correct. There is an engineer who is usually designated to make sure that the entire track sounds consistent and sounds good. But a lot of the time, if you're not in some massive studio, the producer is going to have to mix and master themselves. That doesn't make a producer any less of a producer just because they have to hand off the work to somebody who's much more specialized and skilled in that area. And again, just like most producers, those who have to master and mix music are often contracted to not have to be credited later on. They're paid money, they master the track, and it's good to go. I think in general, for a quick example, most people know that Stonebank masters most of Monstercat's music, but we have no idea what track Stonebank masters, and at the end of the day, it's often up to the artist to decide if they even want Stonebank to master the track because they can bring in their own team to do it for them. And I guess I'll end off with the part where she says that she's getting a bunch of uneducated and ignorant responses because I don't think calling people like Equali, Blau, Rooks, Gasly, Getter, Lewis the Child, they know how to make music, so calling them uneducated is one of the most uneducated things you could probably do. If there's one thing you can learn from this video today, don't be like Alina. One thing Alina didn't seem to want to mention is that most vocals, at least from what I've been told from experience, are either contracted or are often licensed off on websites such as Splice, where you can download a bunch of samples and including acapellas for free use without credit. And for those that are done on commission, they are often featured as a vocalist and not given the same amount of credit because vocalists don't do as much work on the track as the producer. Most people don't come to a track for the vocalist anyways, it's usually the producer. The vocalist hence is featured. Anyways, that's all I have for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below who your favorite vocalist is, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!